Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats as the ceremony will begin shortly. This program will be live streamed and recorded, so we ask that everyone please silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices. Please also keep conversations to a minimum to avoid audio interference. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and welcome the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick B. Garland, Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Benjamin C. Miser, and the Director of the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, Hugh T. Clements, Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and today's honorees, good afternoon and welcome to today's ceremony. Please be seated. It is my distinct honor to be on stage today with Attorney General Merrick B. Garland and Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Benjamin C. Miser as we come together to congratulate and honor the recipients of the 7th Annual Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Community Policing. I would like to take a moment to recognize the very special guests with us today, Kansas representatives from the 3rd District, Congresswoman Sharice Davids. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, and I know it's an honor for our recipients from Kansas to have you join us today. We also have several representatives in attendance from our law enforcement stakeholder associations. You are our partners and our friends, and we thank you for being here to recognize these award recipients. Thank you genuinely for your partnership. Our nation's law enforcement officers work tirelessly every day to keep our communities safe places to live and work. But too often, these officers are our unsung heroes. Today, however, is our chance to publicly honor and celebrate a special group of officers, detectives, and deputies. As we begin today's program, I would ask that you please stand for the presentation of colors by the Howard University Air Force ROTC 130th Cadet Wing and the singing of the National Anthem by Rhea Walker, Special Assistant to the Chief of Staff, Office of the Attorney General.
Stand by, guns! Right shoulder, pause!
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets and bombs bursting
Please join me in thanking Howard University's Air Force ROTC 130th Cadet Wing and Rhea Walker for their tremendous contribution to today's program. Please take your seats. Yes, please take your seats. So this program is one of the highlights of the year for me, the greatest highlight for me. It's my second year. It's been the best day of the year in this role in the COPS office for 2 years in a row. A chance to publicly recognize a group of officers and deputies who are being honored for tremendous police work. The Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Community Policing recognizes frontline law enforcement for exceptional efforts in the area of criminal investigations, field operations, and innovating policing strategies. This year, the COPS Office received 285 nominations, representing a variety of law enforcement agencies from 42 states, Puerto Rico, and the District of Columbia. The nominations went through several stages of review, and we are very grateful for the participation of our reviewers. Our first round reviewers represented leading law enforcement stakeholder groups. And then there was a second round of reviews with executive-level reviews from the Department of Justice leadership officers, as well as other DOJ components. Recommendations based on those two processes were submitted to the Attorney General for review and selection, and today's recipients are the results of that vigorous process. I think you will be as impressed as I was at the work these officers and deputies are being honored for. It's obvious while reading these nominations that none of these individuals were seeking recognition. They were all just doing their jobs. But they did them with such a level of skill and such a commitment to their work that the results were incredible. Our communities are safer, and our bond with them is stronger because of the work of these individuals. Unfortunately, this work comes with inherent risks that we know all too well. And even though we are all aware of these risks, it is nonetheless devastating when tragedy strikes. Several of today's award recipients are from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, and just yesterday there was a memorial service honoring 3 Palm Beach County deputies who made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives in service to their community. Please let's take a moment of silence. On behalf of the Department of Justice, we offer our deepest sympathy and our sincere condolences to their families, friends, and colleagues, to the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, and to the Palm Beach community. We are so grateful that you made this trip to be with us today in the midst of such a difficult time. And you have our respect and our gratitude for your service. This is a profession I've been part of my entire adult life, and I could not be more proud than to be able to call these men and women my colleagues. On behalf of the COPS Office, I congratulate all of you. And now it is my honor to introduce Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Benjamin C. Miser. In addition to overseeing the COPS Office and being my boss, he oversees numerous other divisions in the Department of Justice, including the Civil Rights Division, the Antitrust Division, the Office of Justice Programs, the Office of Violence Against Women, the Community Relations Service, and many more. Principal Deputy Miser has long been a leading voice in the Department of Justice, tackling some of the most complex legal issues facing our nation. He has played a vital role in advancing and protecting the rights of all Americans, while ensuring that law enforcement has the necessary resources to carry out their important work. He has been a wonderful supporter of the COPS Office and is a true believer in community policing. So it is especially fitting that he is able to join us today in honoring our finalists. Please join me in welcoming my friend, our Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General, Benjamin C. Miser.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Hugh. It's an honor to be here today to celebrate the achievements of so many deserving award recipients. I also want to thank our esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests, including Representative Sharice Davids, the ATF Director of the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and others for joining us today. Today we stand in the presence of extraordinary individuals who exemplify what it means to protect and serve. We celebrate a remarkable truth, the profound and positive impact that law enforcement officers and deputies have on the communities they serve every single day. The Attorney General's Awards for Distinguished Service in Community Policing honor those who demonstrate the very best of the profession and showcase these individuals as pillars of trust, empathy, and unity. In every community, there are moments that test our resolve. Whether it's a crisis that shakes a whole neighborhood or the quiet struggles of a single individual or a single family, we rely on law enforcement professionals to forge connections, to build trust, ensure safety, and uphold justice. Today's honorees embody all of these principles, showing that the heart of policing lies in service to the people. This service requires immense sacrifice, and particularly for those who make the ultimate sacrifice in service to their communities, we honor you and we honor your families. You are not just officers and deputies, you are mentors, problem solvers, and champions for those in need. You embody a core truth that when communities and police work together, the results are stronger, safer, and more connected communities. Every day, you step into the lives of others, from ensuring that a child feels safe walking to school, to stepping in during moments of crisis. You create an environment where other people can thrive. You, the officers and deputies we honor today, go even farther. You don't just respond to calls for help, you proactively build the relationships that prevent harm. You show that policing is not just about enforcing laws, it's about nurturing relationships. These acts of service are lifelines for the communities you serve. Your actions remind us that community policing is not just about responding to incidents, it's about preventing them through understanding, partnership, and compassion. You've walked into situations that demanded not just bravery, but empathy, and emerged as beacons of hope for the communities you serve. This ceremony is a reminder that the badge is not just a symbol of authority, but a promise to serve with honor, compassion, and accountability. The stories behind the awards today are diverse, but they're united by a common thread, a commitment to the ideals of fairness, equity, and safety for all. You have proven that community policing is more than just a strategy, it's a philosophy of service that saves and transforms lives. Even as you serve your community, you are supported by a community too. So we also recognize the families and colleagues who support our officers and deputies. Your service is not performed in isolation, it's a shared sacrifice, and we are deeply grateful to everyone who stands with you. Let us also take a few minutes to recognize the communities that have embraced and supported our police departments. True partnerships require mutual trust and respect, and the stories today remind us that these connections are what make lasting change possible. Whether you're in law enforcement, a community leader, or a citizen passionate about justice, I hope these stories remind us all to continue the hard work. The path ahead may not always be easy, but in the shared responsibility between law enforcement and the communities they serve, we find the promise of a brighter future. So congratulations to all of the recipients of the Attorney General's Awards for Distinguished Service in Community Policing. You have made a profound difference, and because of you, our communities are brighter, safer, and more united. Now it is my great honor to introduce the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland. As those in this room know well, the Attorney General is a steadfast champion of law enforcement and community policing. It would be impossible for me to sum up the Attorney General's entire distinguished career in the few minutes that I have available, but suffice it to say that before President Biden nominated and the Senate confirmed him to serve as Attorney General in March of 2021, he spent much of his career here in the Justice Department, serving under 5 different attorneys general in a variety of roles, including as a prosecutor overseeing the Oklahoma City bombing, Unabomber, and Montana Freeman cases. As Attorney General, he has set out three co-equal priorities for each of us at the Justice Department: upholding the rule of law, keeping this country safe, and protecting civil rights. The Attorney General's profound commitment to community policing and extensive partnerships with state and local law enforcement across the country are critical to achieving this department's mission. It is my great honor to serve with him every day, and now it's my pleasure to introduce Attorney General Merrick Garland.
Thanks, Ben, for that overly generous introduction. And thank you, Hugh, and to the whole COPS team for everything you do every single day. Thanks to the Howard University Color Guard and Justice Department's own Rhea Walker for getting us started today. And thank you to everyone who's joined us for the 7th Annual Attorney General's Awards for Distinguished Service in Community Policing. Our mission at the Justice Department is to uphold the rule of law, to keep our country and our communities safe, and to protect civil rights. Our nation's law enforcement officers are our indispensable partners in that work. Since becoming Attorney General nearly 4 years ago, I have met with state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement officers from across the country. And everywhere I have gone, I have seen their bravery and their resolve. Their work is often dangerous, and most of it happens out of public view. Officers and their families make enormous sacrifices to keep the rest of us safe. I know, as Hugh alluded, that this sacrifice is weighing particularly heavy on our 6 honorees from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Last month, just before Thanksgiving, 3 of their office's deputies were killed in a horrific car accident while they were conducting traffic enforcement. Today, my heart is with the families of Corporal Luis Paez, Deputy Ralph Waller, and Deputy Ignacio Diaz, and with all the law enforcement families across the country mourning someone who was lost in the line of duty. We owe these fallen officers and the people who love them the most an immeasurable debt of gratitude. I know I speak for all of us when I say we are committed to honoring them through our continuing work. Much of the Justice Department's work to partner with state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement is led by the COPS Office, which just marked its 30th anniversary. As Ben said, I've been in the Justice Department a very long time, long enough to have been there at the creation. For the past 3 decades, the COPS Office has worked to advance a model of policing based on the idea that public trust is essential to ensuring public safety. All 21 of today's awardees have demonstrated what community-oriented policing looks like in practice. They come from all different parts of the country. They represent communities of all shapes and sizes. Their typical days might not all look the same, but they are united by a deep commitment to protect their communities. Among them is a detective who earned the trust of victims of unspeakable sexual violence and secured justice for them. A deputy sheriff who gained the confidence of community members impacted by violent crime and convinced eyewitnesses to come forward. A lance corporal who believes so strongly in maintaining open lines of communication with his community that he gives out his cell phone number to the people he serves and encourages them to call. A detective and an officer who partnered with groups that have faced discrimination to ensure they feel protected in the expression of their culture and their faith. A detective who never gave up on solving decades-old homicide and helped the victim's family finally get answers using advanced investigative techniques. a detective who discovered a pattern while investigating a local street gang, and through painstaking work built a criminal enterprise case that led to charges and arrests of 19 gang members. A police officer who personally fielded more than 1,200 calls for service in a single year. A detective and community policing officer whose recruitment efforts put his department on track to be fully staffed for the first time in decades. A master police officer who went out of his way to develop and improve programming for parents who were worried about addressing at-risk behaviors. Officers who worked with community members and business owners to design spaces that promote crime prevention, and teams throughout the country that have worked with their communities to address some of our nation's most entrenched issues, like homelessness, mental illness, and substance abuse with empathy and care. Each of you works each day to ensure that when Americans face their darkest moments, we never have to face them alone. You represent the best of community policing and the best of our country. I am proud of you. I am equally proud of your loved ones, many of whom are here today. I know that law enforcement careers require sacrifice from the entire family. You are there at the end of every shift. You are there through difficult days and long nights. You offer support and compassion as the people you love carry the burden of the toughest jobs out there. Thank you for making their sacrifices possible and for making their service possible. We know they would not be here without you, so we celebrate you today as well. Serving as Attorney General for the past 4 years has been a tremendous honor. It has been an honor to work alongside the extraordinary professionals of the COPS Office who have committed their careers to advancing community policing, and it has been a true honor to work alongside the kinds of heroes who we recognize today. Thank you for everything you have done for your communities, and thank you for all that you will continue to do.
Thank you so much, General Garland and Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Miser, for those remarks. It is a real honor to have you both here today, and we really appreciate your genuine words. Now it is my pleasure to begin the presentation to the recipients of this year's Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service in Community Policing. General Garland and Associate Miser, if I could invite you both back to center stage, and we will now present today's awards. In the category of criminal investigations, for an agency serving more than 250,000 residents, the award goes to Detective Matthew Newbold from the Polk County, Florida Sheriff's Office.
Through his diligent work, study, and understanding of new technologies and commitment to pursuing the truth, Detective Newbold was able to crack a cold case that had gone unsolved for 36 years. Over his 24 years of service, Detective Newbold's steadfast commitment has delivered justice to countless victims and their families, leaving an indelible mark on the community.
In the category of criminal investigations for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, The Attorney General's Award goes to Detective Liz Grant of the Kennewick, Washington Police Department.
Guided by exceptional instincts and an unwavering commitment to justice, Detective Grant connected a series of sexual assaults to a single individual. Her painstaking investigative work, combined with her compassion for victims and ability to earn their trust, led to the suspect receiving a 226-year prison sentence, an outcome that underscores the power of her dedication to pursuing justice.
Also in this category, Detective Tyler Norman with the Salt Lake City, Utah Police Department.
Detective Norman's relentless pursuit of justice has not only disrupted gang activity, but also established him as a leading expert in the field in his county. His tireless dedication, his work to build his own knowledge of the intricacies of the law, and countless hours of investigative work has resulted in the arrest of numerous violent street gang members and the seizure of firearms and narcotics. His efforts have profoundly strengthened public safety throughout the region.
In the category of criminal investigations for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Police Officer Reese Walno of the Spearfish, South Dakota Police Department.
What began as a traffic stop ended in an investigation that eventually led to an arrest and the seizure of over a pound of controlled substances and dark web marijuana, keeping it out of the local community. His quick investigative action provided critical evidence necessary to secure the arrest and drug seizure. This diligent investigation is just standard operating procedure for Officer Walno, who continues meeting his high demand for calls for service and other duties while conducting detailed and important investigations.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving over 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Deputy Sheriff Jamar Robinson with the Palm Beach County, Florida Sheriff's Office.
Since Deputy Sheriff Robinson began serving the city of South Bay, his outstanding community policing efforts have transformed public safety. By building trust and forging strong community relationships, he has obtained critical information from victims and community members. That information has helped solve complex violent and drug-related crimes and prevented others from occurring.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Lance Corporal Justin Boyd of the Columbia, South Carolina Police Department.
The best of community policing is demonstrated through the work of Lance Corporal Boyd. From the partnerships he forms to his community outreach to the investigations he successfully conducts to make his community safer. And that all involves segments of the community, including those disenfranchised residents who often go unseen and unheard. Their voices are now part of the conversation, and the community is safer for it.
In the category of field operations for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Detective Community Policing Officer Stephen LaCroix of the Lamar, Texas Police Department.
Officer LaCroix's exceptional work runs the gamut from tackling major financial and property crimes to engaging with the business community to recruiting new officers to the agency. Through it all, he embodies the principles of community policing, showing how public safety can and indeed flourish when officers are dedicated, innovative, and deeply committed.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving more than 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Corporal Adrian Maldonado, Deputy James Mackey, Deputy Jason Coker, Deputy Tammy Fox, and Deputy Yannick Exius with the Palm Beach County, Florida Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Michael Tremonti is accepting the award on behalf of Corporal Maldonado.
The lives of the people in Palm Beach County who are in need of help have been profoundly transformed thanks to the efforts of these deputies. Their outreach to the homeless population and others in need has gone above and beyond their initial assignment and has included finding housing solutions and launching an immensely successful food distribution program. These officers exemplify the values and mission of the Sheriff's Office, as well as the core principles of community policing.
Also in this category, the Attorney General's Award goes to Detective Edwin Hugh and Police Officer Thomas Joy with the Suffolk County, New York Police Department.
Detective Hugh and Officer Joy made it their mission to give a voice to a population often underrepresented in public safety in Suffolk County, the Asian American community. Because of their persistent efforts, this community now has a stronger voice in local government, better access to resources, and a responsive law enforcement presence to crimes against their community. It's due to these efforts that Suffolk County now has a strong partner in the Asian American community.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving between 50,000 and 250,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Officer Stephen Melandro, Officer Trevor Stamper, and Specialist Todd Nutbrown with the Lago, Florida Police Department.
Through the extraordinary efforts of these officers, the Largo Police Department has transformed the lives of over 500 individuals experiencing homelessness. And it wasn't just creative solutions like partnering with a homeless shelter or drafting new city ordinances. It was also their dedication, their deep understanding of the nature of these challenges, and their unwavering commitment that has made such a change for the community.
Also in this category, the Attorney General's Award goes to Officer Wesley Griffith and Officer Bill Cohen with the Overland Park, Kansas Police Department.
Griffith have elevated community policing to new heights through their community education and awareness building of crime prevention through environmental design, or CEPTED. From giving presentations to hundreds of residents and businesses, to conducting physical security assessments and launching impactful programs, their work has been both deeply engaged with the community while at the same time strengthening crime prevention efforts.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Master Police Officer Thomas Rodriguez with the Manassas City, Virginia Police Department.
Officer Rodriguez works to better equip parents and caregivers in Manassas City, Virginia to deal with challenges that can arise when guiding their children through their daily lives. His dynamic program equips families to navigate a wide range of potential issues with confidence and resilience, and it has led to greater collaboration between the police, the school system, and families.
In the category of innovations in community policing for an agency serving fewer than 50,000 residents, the Attorney General's Award goes to Master Police Officer Shauna Moeller with the Manassas City, Virginia Police Department.
Officer Moeller's compassionate approach has been a lifeline for individuals in the community facing mental health crises, connecting those requiring mental health services to the appropriate resources. But her impact extends even further, providing vital support to her fellow officers so their own mental health and wellness is also a priority. This is all in addition to initiating and running numerous other programs that greatly benefit her community.
What a wonderful ceremony, and what an honor to share the stage with such a distinguished group of law enforcement officers. I think we all feel the same. And we are especially grateful for the participation of Attorney General Merrick Garland and Principal Deputy Associate Attorney General Miser. Please join me in thanking them for joining us today. Thank you. And many thanks to all of you for being here for this very special event. It truly is. Congratulations again for today's honorees, and please join me in acknowledging them one more time. I would now like to ask our recipients to remain seated as we get ready for photographs with friends and families and dignitaries and chiefs from the organization. Thank you very much, and this concludes our event today. Thank you all for attending.